Check the description for the following discount codes. Today I'm going to be assembling, testing and reviewing the Playseat Evolution. Now some of you will have seen my review last week, week before in fact, of the ADX A01 Firebase or something really random it was called, which is essentially a copy of what we have here for almost half the price. That was £130. This is £250. This doesn't appear to come with a shifter mount, which I didn't even realise, whereas the ADX Firebase does. So the ADX is a lot cheaper, comes with an additional accessory mount, but it was crap. And if you see the review, you know it was really crap. It was the wobbliest, most flexible cockpit I've ever tested, and I recommend that you don't buy it. Even for £130, I don't think you'll get a good experience. Save up a little bit more money, buy something else. Maybe even this, because what happened in the comments to that video was, I had a real 50-50 split. Some people, this is from owners of this, some people saying, my Evo doesn't flex like that Firebase at all. It's way more solid, it's great. And then other Evolution owners saying, it's exactly the same car, because I said in the video it's a carbon copy, and you know, if the Playseat Evo is anything like the Firebase, you don't want that either. So yeah, some people saying no, it's not. Other people saying yeah, it's exactly the same flexy piece of crap, Carl. So you know, and even stories of people having like the steering wheel decks come away at the welds and all sorts of other issues as well. So I thought, you know what, let's just get one in, get it together and give it a test, and then we'll know for sure. Because it's, you know, for the price point, it is a complete rig for 250 quid minus a shifter mount, as far as I can tell. I can't see one, I don't think there's one here. We've got a little bag of cable ties and some what looks like Velcro strips as well. I'm not sure what they are for yet, but I have the instructions and I am going to use them, contrary to what people believe about men. I am going to take a peek, so we'll find out what they're for. It comes with the tools to put it together. They're down there on the floor there. I like the material of this seat more than the Firebase. It is still some sort of plastic, polyurethane perhaps, or PVC, but it feels a bit softer, almost a bit more plush. So that is a little nice. The way it was boxed up and presented was nicer as well. But one thing I have already noticed, which and like the components here, they feel a similar sort of weight. You know, and they're a similar thickness to the ADX Firebase. But one of the things I didn't like about that was the way this was welded on with just a bit of weld there and a bit of weld there. And in fact, there's even weld spatter where this has been welded and it's made its way around the edges here as well. And then on the inside here, on this one, we've actually got swarf in there. Actual metal shavings, look, where it's been drilled out and then painted over. And again, there's a sharp lip here that should have been filed out. Yeah, that's sharp enough for me to potentially cut myself on that little lip in there. And someone else said in the other video, I don't understand, Carl, why you've got a rectangular shape welded to a circular hole. Why didn't they just make the hole in this the same shape as the bit that they're welding it to, you know? But I mean, the answer is because they don't really care. They've just sat it on top and put a bead of weld either side. So that isn't the most encouraging start to this review. There's literally metal swarf flapping about inside here, and a sharp edge, sharp enough that I could potentially cut myself on it. So that's not very good. The finish on the paint, I would say, is a little better than on the ADX Firebase, but none of this really matters if I put it together and it wobbles around like a plate of jelly. So let's get it together. Let's get my Thrustmaster stuff on there. I've got my shifter off of my G2 Mega Titan ready to fit to this, and don't look like I'm going to be using it. But let's get it together. Let's get that stuff installed, and we'll see whether this is any better, you know, considering it is twice the price. So yeah, bear with me. we're all assembled, and that probably took me, I don't know, somewhere in the region of 15 minutes. Pretty nippy in actual fact. And I think I can already say that this definitely feels more solid than that Firebase. There's already less wobble side to side here. And there's something I'm going to do later as well. People commented that because I'm on carpet, you obviously get a bit more side to side flex and front to back than if you're on a hard floor. And this is definitely the case. My GT Amiga Prime, I can make move. The cockpit isn't flexing, but you see it sink into the carpet on its feet, or in my case, casters. So that is definitely a consideration. But already this wobbles less than what that other one did. One of the things I noticed after making the previous review is that the legs that come out either side here to stabilise on that previous one, on that Firebase, weren't actually flat. They were up a little bit, so it's going to give you side to side wobble straight away. This is definitely more solid already, and what I'm going to try and do, if it isn't too heavy and awkward, is take it through into my bathroom, which is 2 rooms through there, which has a hard floor, once we've tried it here, and just see whether it's any more stable or less flexy, you know, on a hard floor. But I do try and point out in my videos, when you look for flex from a side view, you need to look for flex relative to another point on the cockpit, rather than relative to what you see in the background or to my floor, because of the sort of the give in the carpet. But this feels more solid. The pedal tray feels a little more solid. That last one was absolutely awful. So I want to grab the camera, do a quick close-up walk around, then I'll throw some equipment on it and give it a test drive. Let's have a little close-up here. There you can see your pedal tray is pre-drilled for many different types of pedal sets, judging by the look of it. You've got your usual rake adjustment on the side here, and rather than being just a continuous slot, these are actually individually drilled holes, which means it can't slip under hard braking. So that is a nice touch. We've got some adjustable feet here to help stabilise this, stop it flexing and wobbling from side to side. And then as we come back here, I think we seem to have a bit more substantial webbing on here and up here than what we did on that previous one. You know, there's only spot welded in place, but that's all it needs to be really, because there isn't going to be a huge amount of stresses on this. Adjustment wise, again, we've got, you can slide this backwards and forwards independently of this. And if you undo that, you can slide this whole piece here in and out as well. That'll bring your pedal tray in and out. And one of the problems I had with that other one was that I couldn't find a suitable seating position whereby my steering wheel wasn't stuck in my chest and that I could reach the pedals comfortably. So we'll see what happens with this one. Again, there's no adjustment on the seat. You can't slide the seat backwards or forward. There's no runners and there is no shift amount, much like I suspected. What I must say though is I really actually quite like this white, black and silver combination. I actually think it looks pretty cool. And that's actually why I chose to buy this colour. Not that I'm going to keep it, I'm literally just buying it in for review and then I'll move it on, you know, sort of discounted 50 quid off retail to whoever may want it on Facebook Marketplace. I can't just keep a house full of racing rigs that I'm not going to use, and I don't have the money to keep a huge stock of racing rigs that I'm not going to use. But yeah, I do like the look of this. And as I said earlier, this seat just feels, it feels soft. In fact, I would say it even feels softer than the material on my GT Amiga seats, one of which is there and one of which is there. It's a nice material. I'm not sure what it is, but it's quite nice. I've not sat in it yet, so I'll talk about comfort and what have you when we give it a go. But yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know. The wheel deck, of course, doesn't adjust, and there's that swarf again that I was talking about earlier, just sticking out, and that sharp edge that you could cut yourself on if you're not careful. But yeah, let's get some wheel and pedals on here and give it a little blast. And as I say, hopefully after that, I will try and take it round into my bathroom and see what it's like on a harder floor. Well, there's definitely less flex than that previous cockpit, but like that previous one, I could push with my fingers and it would literally wobble. This one's definitely more solid, but there is still side to side wobble. Some of this may be, yeah, some of that can be attributed to the carpet. You could actually see it dipping into the carpet as I wobble it. So there's definitely going to be less on a harder surface. As far as up and down flex goes, that's still, it's not as wobbly. Like the other one, no, this one does sort of wobble. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, so it's still a fair bit of up and down wobble on this one. I would say a little less than that last cockpit, but not great. But it's about what, you're not doing this when you drive. So from a rotational point of view, I haven't actually tried it yet, this will be my first time in a second. From a rotational point of view, where your weight kind of hangs down more on it, I would say, it actually feels okay. I think we might be all right versus that other one, which was just unusable. Pedal tray, we had an issue with that. There's 4 bolts that should hold these TLCMs down. Only 2 holes line up. So we've only got 2 bolts holding the pedals down. Now, yes, you could drill the pedal tray to make 2 holes for the other one, but obviously as a review, this needs to be an out-of-the-box experience, not if you grab a drill, a welder, and goodness knows what else, you can make things better. This is how it comes. So what I've actually got holding is just 2 at the back there, meaning it can lift a little at the front here. And of course that's going to happen when I brake hard. You can see it just lifts a little bit there. But as far as the actual tray goes, that previous one we tested had loads of side-to-side wobble. This does have side-to-side movement, slightly accentuated by a dip in the carpet when I do it, but there is still a fair bit of movement in the tray. Would it be enough to cause a problem is a question, because you don't really push side to side, like that. You push forwards. And doing that, if I alternate from left to right foot, yes, it moves a little bit. Would it cause me a problem? We'll find out in a minute. The brake pedal, it's actually not lifting that much considering there's only 2 bolts holding it in. Brake pedal, oh, there we go, there it is. But that's because it's not bolted down, remember. So get into the brake pedal with this upright in the middle. Your leg definitely rubs on the upright. Nothing you can do about that. Again, would it cause me a problem? It might become a little bit annoying, but at the same time, and left foot braking actually is easier for some reason. Why is that? Weird. My left leg actually only just brushes it. Right leg hits it hard. Angle of my foot. Okay. Yeah, so I would say actually being in the middle, I don't think it would be an issue. No, I don't. What else? Getting a seating position I'm comfortable with. The seat feels fine to sit in. There's no angle adjustment for the back upright. So for me, it is a little bit upright. I like to be a touch more reclined because I have lower back problems. The steering wheel is a little lower than I would like, but it had to be to get it to go that bit further away from my chest. If I raise this up, because of the way it works, it brings it closer to me. And already this is closer than I would like. Again, I demonstrated in the other review, when you put your arms on your wheel, your wrist should rest on the top of the wheel here. Now, a chap in the comments said that he'd been watching some real life rally drivers and he doesn't think that's the case. I'd already done some research into this and he was suggesting it was only for road cars that that's the correct arm length. But if you Google it yourselves, there's lots of diagrams from, I think the first one I found was Skoda Motorsports, showing exactly what I said, which is your wrist should rest on the top of the steering wheel. So from my research, that is correct. And obviously in this case, it's almost my elbows that are resting on top of the wheel. So you can tell how too close it is for me. But it's the best I can do. If I go any further away like that, then the steering wheel's, that actually feels better for me. I guess you can get used to the heights being different. It's still nowhere near where it should be, of course, but in fact, I think I might go with it being down there, a bit sort of go-kart style. Anyway, let's give it a little whirl and you can see what it looks like from the side and we'll see. Oh, bloody, this is going to be weird. I've got no handbrake, so I've got a paddle set, which means I've got no, we've got no accelerator either. Have I not mapped the accelerator? Bear with me. Okay, we've got some pedals mapped now. That's weird because I've used these before in dirt rally, so I don't know why it lost the mapping for them. but it had. Anyway, let's, yeah, so my handbrake is my left paddle here, which means I'm just driving automatic. Which is really weird for me, because I don't drive anything automatic. That feels really weird, in fact. Okay, so now I've lowered the steering wheel down. My knee is hitting the underside here, which is really quite uncomfortable. So it would have to come up, which means it would bring it closer to me. And again, I don't really want it any closer because it's already too close. So for me, seating position, just can't get it. Just can't get it right. Just it wouldn't be something I could use. I'm trying to think if there's any sort of things that make my body shape different to other people's, because there are lots of people in the comments of that Firebase review that do use this and have done for a number of years. So I guess some of you get on with it. Maybe it's just one of those things where you have to try it. And if you can find a comfortable seating position, then you're all right. And if you can't, you can't. I'm feeling up and down wobble as I drive. That is a bit irritating, to be honest. Left and right feels fine, actually. I'm not really feeling, you may see some on the camera that I can't see, but I'm not feeling any left to right wobble, but I am feeling, weirdly, I'm feeling up and down wobble, which I didn't think I would. And in fact, when the force feedback kicks in, because you're going over a rough surface like the grass here, that's when I actually feel the wobble. Yeah, that's when it, like then, the whole thing just wobbled around. Yeah, okay, this isn't great. I mean, bearing in mind the price point, 250 quid. Yeah, so obviously when you're used to something solid and you try something out like this, you're naturally going to go, it's awful. But what else can we get for 250 quid with a seat? I don't know. I think if it were me, I would probably save up a bit more money and get the GT Amiga Art, because that's a lot more solid than this. The seat's on runners, it moves back and forwards, you've got proper height adjustment, everything can be put exactly where you want it. It comes with a shifter mount. There is a little bit of flex in the wheel deck of that, but again, that's a cheap full static cockpit as well. But that can easily be fixed. I don't really know what to say about this. It's less wobbly than the previous one, so I do agree with the people in the comments that said this is better than that other one. But then it's almost twice the price, so it should be, and it doesn't have a shifter mount. I don't think I'm going to bother taking it into the bathroom, to be honest, because I'm not experiencing much in the way of left to right wobble. I'm noticing more of this up and down play here, because as the force feedback is obviously rotational, so if I try and hold the wheel still and the motor turns in this, what it's actually going to do is lift it up and down, and that's where we're getting the wobble. The pedal plate I actually didn't really feel any issues with, so apart from my hitting my leg on there, but again that's this wheel deck being in the wrong place for me. So yeah, the side-to-side play is negligible, even on this carpet. So I think that's all right. It's the up and down that bugs me. This here, look, that you can see, if I get a couple of fingers, I'm not applying a whole lot of force there, and it's wobbling up and down like a bitch. I don't know. I guess the thing is, if all you can afford is 250 quid, or whatever it was this is, it's better than nothing. It's still better than, if you can find a comfortable seating position, it's better than a wheel stand, because wheel stands are quite wobbly unless you buy a Next Level Racing DD wheel stand, but then they're 200 notes and it's just a wheel stand. You've still got to put a chair behind it and all that sort of palaver. So if it's all you can afford, it does work. And if you can get some pedals that actually use all four holes, that would be a good start to remove that lift at the bottom there. It's not the best product, but then it's pretty cheap. So yeah, I guess it's up to you really. Shall I put a link in the description? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description, because if it's all you can afford and you've got pedals that bolt down properly, and maybe you're on a Logitech G920, or perhaps a Thrustmaster T300 or TX where the force feedback isn't quite as strong as this, you won't get so much of that up and down wobble. And ultimately, some of us only have a certain amount of money to spend. So if you're Logitech up and you want an all-in-one cockpit for £250, then it does at least function. That Firebase from the other week was just way too wobbly in all directions. And I could barely reach the pedals either. So yeah, it's a average cockpit for the money. It does do a job. If you need one, I actually think it looks quite nice, which is really annoying because I like the colours and the design of this. If only it was a little more sturdy, but we've got to bear in mind the price point. So anyway, that's my review of the Playseat Evolution. Definitely a step up from the ADX Firebase, but still a step down from things like a GT Amiga Art, both adjustability-wise, stability-wise, and overall sort of experience and quality. Finding bits of swarf that have actually got through to the paint shop and been painted over is never the best either. But yeah, there we go. There will be a link, I was going to say downstairs. There'll be a link downstairs if you want to buy one. As always, thank you for watching and take it easy.